My name is Dwan Jiang. I just sold 7 million worth of gold in the gold shop. I have decided to spend all this money within a month. I plan to spend all of it on entertainment expenses. If you ask me where the gold came from, travel through the apocalypse and find out. Turn back time to 1 day ago. Eager Dwan Jiang is ready to open. Experience the holographic projection of future technology. Unexpectedly, all that appeared before his eyes were those movies. I went so loud. It turns out that these over 100 movies are all downloaded from Pornhub. No wonder the boss's expression was so lewd at that time. If he hadn't been fired before. Dwan Jiang may still be interested in these. Now what? He should go deal with the gold first before he says anything. There's no need to think about converting so much gold into cash at the bank. He needs to find a trustworthy gold shop to handle it. Sir, we only purchase 24-karat gold here. If you do, sir? Dwan Jiang interrupted the salesperson before she could finish speaking. You can't make decisions for my business. Please call your manager. The saleswoman's face looked slightly displeased, but she still notified the manager with a helpless look on her face. With his outfit and that shabby bag, how does he look like he's here for business negotiations? She watched as Dwan Jiang opened the backpack to reveal the gold. Manager Anshan Lu couldn't help but take a deep breath. He had seen gold being used before, but it was the first time he had seen someone carry it in a backpack to sell like this. 70 kilograms of gold bars. After seeing the appraiser nod, Anshan Lu coughed. A total of 7.2 million. May I ask, Mr. Jiang, if you have an invoice? No. Dwan Jiang looked Anshan Lu straight in the eyes and said decisively. Anshan Lu was slightly taken aback. After a moment of contemplation, he signaled for the appraiser to leave first. There were only 2 people left in the room. Forgive my bluntness. Mr. Jiang's gold may not have a very ordinary source, I'm afraid. You can rest assured, there is no record in the country. The source is absolutely normal. This is my reward. Using gold as a reward. This is a bit far-fetched. Hey, I said, Manager Lu, are you interested in this deal or not? Yes, of course. Manager Lu from Anshan said with a smile. However, the gold you provided lacks an invoice. It's not very appropriate for us. Dwan didn't wait for him to finish. 7.2 million, rounded down to 7 million. How about I count the extra as yours? I already quoted a lower price for this item. The manager's face lit up with a smile upon hearing this. In the blink of an eye, he made tens of thousands of dollars. It would be foolish not to do it. But just after the 2 completed the transaction, Manager Lu suddenly changed his expression. This person has brought so much gold. Without even blinking an eye, he probably still has more goods in his hands. Should we have someone follow him? After much thought, he decided to proceed with caution. Dwan Jiang, sitting in the taxi at the moment, finally couldn't help but feel ecstatic in his heart. All the way, he fantasized about the wealthy life he was about to enter, smiling foolishly nonstop. I said, buddy. We have arrived. Dwan Jiang coolly threw out 100 yuan banknote. He casually said, no need to look for the change. Rich people can be so willful. The hot-bodied woman in front of us will soon fall in love with our male lead. Just a short while ago, Dwan Jiang, who holds a large amount of money, arrived at a luxury clothing store. People rely on clothing just as horses rely on saddles. With money, he will definitely want to change his outfit. This is also the place where the male protagonist used to work. Later, due to certain reasons, his female boss dismissed him. But today, he did not see her around. Never mind. I will choose clothes first. At this time, the salesgirl next to them noticed Dwan Jiang. She watched Dwan's posture as he selected clothes. He exuded the aura of a noble prince in every way. I want to seduce him. Oh no! Check out. Except for the few items I have in my hands. I want all the remaining styles. I'm going, what a rich person. Now my annual performance has come out. Sir, are you paying with cash or card? Card. Where is that woman? Dwan Jiang waited for a long time, but still did not see that woman. He did come back this time to show off his wealth. He is going to slap that woman's face hard. By the way, Dwan Jiang suddenly asked. She went to a meeting today and can't come back for now, the salesperson replied apologetically. Is your manager's surname CIA? Manager CIA, are you mistaken? Our manager's surname is Shu. Oh, then forget it. Dwan Jiang is a bit disinterested. Oh, by the way, our former manager's last name is CIA, something like she is CIA. So where is she now? It seems like she resigned due to downsizing. I'm not very sure either. Dwan Jiang couldn't help but feel a burst of joy inside upon hearing this. That stinky woman is just 2 steps behind me, haha. Dwan Jiang, who is now wearing new clothes, feels refreshed. He plans to go to the hair salon next to get a new haircut. Sir, you don't have an appointment. Please be quick. The lady boss immediately became respectful when she saw Dwan Jiang's outfit. Sir, please wait a moment. Our best hairdresser in the shop will serve you. A charming stylist with a beautiful appearance walked over in a short while. Hello. I am happy to serve you. A graceful and charming beauty caught my eye. Please lie down, sir. He allowed a pair of delicate hands to rub his scalp. He listened to elegant music. He can wash his hair with such artistry. It's really worth the price. Dwan Jiang couldn't help but sigh that spending money is really enjoyable. At this moment, the beauty is also sizing up Dwan Jiang in his designer outfit. She looks pretty good. Wow. Talented and wealthy at a young age. This is totally my kind of guy. The beauty is now immersed in her own fantasy. Dwan Jiang, who just had his hair done, swiped his card elegantly and left. The women in the store were once again infatuated. At this moment, Dwan Jiang felt a little lonely walking on the street alone. He saw a women's clothing store and wanted to buy some clothes for Jiao's son. Forget it. It's too weird to go to this kind of store by himself. If Jiao-san were here, it would be great. She would definitely be very happy. But now I don't know yet. Can I really bring a living person with me through time and space? The beautiful iceberg in front of me. The beauty was actually cheated on by her boyfriend. The leaky roof is always encountered during a night of rain. This scumbag secretly used Shiyucia's ID to take out a loan to buy a car before breaking up. When Shiyucia had a job before, she used to send him money every month. It was not obvious what he did with the money. Now that Shiyucia is unemployed, all the problems have come to light. But there is nothing that can be done. Even as a highly talented individual, Shiyucia has not been able to find a better job in the short term. So she moved out of her original apartment. She now hides in a low-rent house, making a living by working odd jobs, saving money while thinking of seeking legal means to solve the problem. But her good luck came to an end. The debt collectors found her. I didn't expect you to still be working at the flower shop. Have you managed to save enough money? Hoodlum took action as soon as he spoke. I will pay off the debt through my work. Please stop bothering me. Just this lousy job? When should I expect to go? What do you want then? Shiyucia was angry. 2 choices. Either you take the money. Shiyucia still hesitates. Huang Mao urged, saying, You should go. You can work at the nightclub for a few years to pay off the money. By then, you can leave the city and find someone to marry. Anyway, no one knows what you are doing at the nightclub. Just when Huang Mao was brainwashing people here. I said, How should I address you, sir? Do you want a Marlboro cigarette? What a coincidence, brother. I ran into an acquaintance while strolling today. Dwan Jiang just dragged Shiyucia over. I heard everything. She owes you money, right? It's him. How come Dwan Jiang is here? Can I ask how much she owes you? It's not very manly for so many people to bully a weak woman. Kid, you're quite good at talking. Wang Mao went up to challenge Dwan Jiang. It's a pity. Dwan Jiang instantly grabbed Wang Mao's fist. Wang Mao saw that he was no match. He took out a small knife to launch a sneak attack. But he didn't even have a chance to react before his weapon was confiscated. What? Now Wang Mao is completely furious. Brothers, go and kill him for me. But at this moment, Dwan Jiang suddenly called a halt. Can we go to the alley over there? There are security cameras here. Is this kid looking for a place to die alone? He thinks he can take on 10 opponents just because he has practiced. Later, my brothers will teach you how to behave. Brothers, take action. Chop him for me. I didn't expect that at this moment Dwan Jiang suddenly pulled out a handgun. How about Brother Tiger? Brother Tiger is still very tough right now. It's fake, isn't it, bro? I'm not easily scared. Just saw Dwan Jiang casually fire a shot, breaking the leg of the younger brother next to him. Then he slowly moved the gun back. Do you believe it now, brother? How about another shot from me? The hoodlums instantly backed down collectively. Big brother has something to say. There's no need to resort to violence. Dwan Jiang, seeing them retreat, couldn't be bothered with further words. He directly instructed the hoodlum to transfer the IOU to him on the spot. He repaid the IOU on behalf of Shiyu-CIA. And at this moment, Shiyu-CIA is still worried about Dwan Jiang's situation. Cold and glamorous former female boss. A solitary man and woman in an old and dilapidated low-rental room share a room. Just thinking about this scene is exciting. Time back to an hour ago. Dwan Jiang helped Shiyu-CIA deal with the little hoodlum. Are you okay? Not okay. I got a minor injury on my face. Sure, let me help you with that. Saliva can kill germs, Dwan Jiang joked. But he faced Shiyu-CIA's cold eyes. Okay, don't look at me like that. After all, I am your new creditor. I'm good at everything. Just a bit too kind. I won't charge you interest. Looking at Dwan Jiang Shiyu-CIA in front of him, he couldn't help but sigh. What kind of medicine did this guy take wrongly after not seeing each other for a while? I will pay you back. Along with interest. Misfortunes never come alone. At this moment, the boss of the flower shop stopped Shiyu-CIA. He expressed that he could no longer keep her employed in the store. Those little hoodlums are really not to be messed with. And so, Shiyu-CIA is unemployed again. Oh no! Did she get fired? Dwan Jiang on the side is gloating. The work was all messed up by this group of hoodlums. She had no choice but to go home first and make a plan. But at this time, Dwan Jiang followed. He said he wanted to go to her house to treat the wound. Looking at the old house in front of him, Dwan Jiang couldn't help but exclaim, I can't believe Xixing City still has places like this. Oh my, this rusty door is too severe. Can people still live here? And the scene inside is truly desolate. He finally found a place to sit, but it was a wobbly chair with a lame leg. Where are you injured? Shiyu-CIA, dressed in casual clothes, asked earnestly. This made Dwan Jiang, who had originally just wanted to tease, couldn't help but look embarrassed. I said I would help you deal with the wound. Shiyu-CIA's expression was complicated. After speaking, Shiyu-CIA took a deep breath. Carefully wiping beside Dwan Jiang's face, Shiyu-CIA murmured, Oh no, am I falling for this girl? Why is my heart beating so fast? I said your body smells so good. It's the smell of gardenia flowers. I got some pollen on me while I was working. Your wound has been treated. However, the eyes of the two people met. At this moment, time seemed to stand still. An awkward feeling swept over. Thank you for what just happened. You're welcome. Dwan Jiang thought to himself. I specifically came to find you. Don't you hate me? Shi suddenly asked. To be honest, Dwan Jiang used to hate. But if it wasn't Shi who fired him, he wouldn't have come across the time travel bracelet. In short, I don't hate you as much now. By the way, Dwan Jiang, would you like to hear my story? After saying that, Dwan Jiang didn't care if he wanted to listen. Shi talked about her own job loss. She talked about all the threats from the hoodlum. She needed to find someone to confide in. And this person has only just appeared in front of her until now. Yes, you will be like this in the future. Smile more. It looks much better. I'm done talking. Now it's your turn to talk about yourself. As for me, I recently made some money from doing business. Oh, I don't believe it. Even she herself didn't notice. This quite feminine expression actually appeared on her face. The former cold, glamorous female boss has become her own secretary and CEO. What kind of experience is this? At this moment, Dwan Jiang is desperately trying to get the sexy female strong figure to recommend her own company. I plan to start a future human technology company. I want to hire you as the general manager of my company. The company you are starting. Shi looked incredulous. I've already told you that I am in business. You see, you still don't believe me. Then won't I have to work under you? I am quite looking forward to my former boss. That means you will work hard for me without complaint. Shi who heard this, did not get angry. After thinking for a moment, he said, I promise you. Great. Dwan Jiang is overjoyed at this moment. This is his ultimate goal for coming to Shi constantly switching gold is just not reliable. Doesn't it sound great for him to set up a technology company and resell apocalypse technology? Then it's up to manager CIA. Monthly salary is tentatively set at 200,000. Is the salary so high? Shi couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Just a heads up. I don't accept any hidden rules. Upon hearing this, Dwan Jiang immediately had a creepy look on his face. Seeing this, Shi became angry. Dwan Jiang quickly wiped away the drool. Shi then suggested to find out about the current situation of the company. After all, even a skillful woman cannot cook a meal without rice. She also has no prior experience in this area. But at this moment, Dwan Jiang interrupted her speech. And he looked serious as he said that the company is still in the conceptual stage. Later, he indulged in a daydream in front of Shi And he said he would become the next Bill Gates. Hello, is this the hospital? Please transfer me to the psychiatric department, thank you. It's never too late to listen to me and then make a decision. Dwan Jiang said if Shi she will definitely regret if she gives up now. I'll call her first from my side. 5 million as the startup capital for the company. And also Shi salary in the future. It definitely won't just be this little. Shi sighed deeply. Don't you fear that I will run away with the money? You are not that kind of person. And spending 5 million to get to know a person better is not a loss for me now. In that case, not having you work for me would be my loss. It seems to be the case for now. All right then. Shi stood up and said, since I currently don't have a job and still owe you so much money, please teach me more in the future, my boss. He saw that the matter was settled. Dwan Jiang got up and prepared to leave. Before leaving, he even remembered to ask Shi to find a better place to stay. Thank you. You were very handsome back then. I rely on this girl wouldn't have a crush on me, right? Just now, why couldn't I resist saying such embarrassing things? Shi couldn't help blushing, and her heart raced for a while. The scene shifted. After settling everything, Dwan Jiang finally arrived in Sanya, as he had longed for. The beach, of course, was filled with beautiful women in swimsuits. What kind of adventures will Dwan Jiang encounter in Sanya? When will Dwan Jiang return to subscribe to my channel Apocalypse? Stay tuned for the revelation coming soon. What kind of experience will Dwan Jiang have when staying at the top luxury hotel? Dwan Jiang is about to leave at the moment. He suddenly received an invitation letter. Saudi Prince's birthday banquet. What the heck is this? Let's party first before considering this. An endless pool is so refreshing. Dwan Jiang leisurely swam a lap in it. Of course, he didn't forget to appreciate the beautiful scenery along the way. After swimming, he laid on a sun lounger for sunbathing. It is indeed the highest standard hotel. The view from the observation deck is fantastic. He looked at the demure Southeast Asian beauty in front of him. There are also foreign friends with blonde hair and blue eyes. There are even exotic Middle Eastern beauties. Good wine compliments a pretty woman. Dwan Jiang couldn't help but open a bottle of 1982 Lafite. After getting drunk all day, Dwan Jiang lay in bed, feeling a bit hungry. At this moment, he suddenly remembered that birthday dinner. I go with this steak. This color. Dwan Jiang, who had never eaten good food, suddenly began to eat ravenously. At this time, the wedding of the Saudi prince is taking place. Is that the wife of a tycoon? Really wealthy. Dwan Jiang couldn't help but sigh. Dwan Jiang is eating voraciously. At that moment, a foreigner suddenly showed up at the door. Turns out, Dwan Jiang's behavior at the banquet was too flashy. At this moment, Dwan Jiang has already discovered the identity of this foreign bodyguard. The foreigner expressed that there was no malicious intent. Just here for a routine inquiry. Even though he is a member of the special forces, he also felt a dangerous aura around Dwan Jiang. I can only follow Dwan Jiang to prevent him from causing any trouble suddenly. Dwan Jiang, who has already discovered clues, doesn't expose them either. The two of them chatted as they ate. Mr. Jiang, forgive me for being blunt, but with my current salary, I cannot afford to stay in a luxurious presidential suite. It turns out this person mistook me for a colleague. Dwan Jiang also keeps it secret. He just mentioned that he is involved in activities related to gold. After a satisfying meal and drink, Dwan Jiang looked content. Just as he was about to leave, a beautiful lady approached from behind. Hey handsome, are you alone? At that moment, Yao Lu, dressed alluringly, noticed Dwan Jiang standing alone. It's been a long time since I've met such a handsome guy. Yao Lu was a bit excited at the moment. Yes, there is. Is there anything I can help you with, beautiful lady? Of course. I still need a male companion to enjoy the beach with me. That's perfect, as my beach villa also needs a female companion to accompany. Should I show you my large villa then? My name is Dwan Jiang. May I ask the beauty's name? My name is Yao Lu. I am an actor. At this moment, everyone has been eagerly awaiting for Brother Chicken to finally make an appearance. Brother Chicken is like this at first, and then like this. In the end, Brother Chicken can only be like this. After a fierce battle, Yao Lu naturally couldn't match Dwan Jiang, who had undergone gene enhancement, and fell into a deep sleep with a happy smile on his face. At this moment, Dwan Jiang opened his EP panel. He found that the genetic potion had fully delivered its effects. It seemed that if he wanted to improve his physical qualities, he would have to find another way. Dwan Jiang looked at the seaside scenery and fell into contemplation. Sanya. Luxury villa. Female celebrity. The experiences of these days are beyond what Dwan Jiang had ever dared to imagine. At this moment, Dwan Jiang, who fought fiercely all night, is leisurely sipping a glass of 1982 Lafite for himself. He is pondering how to spend the remaining money next. My talented little brother. Drinking in the morning is not good for the stomach. Yao Lu woke up, looking at the beauty in front of him. Dwan Jiang couldn't help but actively invite Yao Lu to enjoy the beautiful view of the morning beach together. I actually don't quite understand. You are very beautiful and smart. But why is there no big success? Hearing this, Yao Lu couldn't help but fall silent for a moment. After all, sometimes beauty is also a kind of fault, isn't it? But the sadness of this female star disappeared in an instant. Now she is back to taking selfies in the villa. And she didn't forget to send the photos to her girlfriends afterwards. If my sisters saw this luxurious ocean view villa, they would definitely be jealous. If fans found out there was a man in your room, wouldn't you be caught up in a scandal? Yao Lu immediately said she couldn't ask for more. By then, she would have to clarify rumors and deal with hot searches. It's hard not to get attention. Unfortunately, I as a small star am not so lucky. For now, I will just enjoy life. I have a feeling that this woman took advantage of me. Just when the two were bantering with each other, an unexpected guest showed up at the door. Is it your friend? Should I make myself scarce? You can go ahead and cancel your original room reservation. Your luggage can stay with me for now. After all, you don't really have a chance to go back, Dwan Jiang said with a smirk. Okay, my boss. I'll go get my luggage first and leave you guys to chat. The visitor is the bodyguard I met at the banquet a few days ago. I said, Mr. Bruce, aren't you working as a security guard for the Saudi prince? How come you have time to come to me? Bruce said he came to deliver a letter for his former employer. And he said his former employer is a gold middleman. Dwan Jiang became interested as soon as he heard it. He had been worrying about this matter. 10 minutes later, Dwan Jiang met the man named Roberts. As far as I know, the gold control in your country is very strict. If Mr. Jiang sells a large amount, this will surely attract the attention of the government. It seems that Mr. Roberts knows a lot about our country's situation. But you won't have any problems selling it in the United States, right? The same problems exist. But we will discuss the law and evidence. We have a professional team to handle these matters. I don't know if Mr. Roberts is here. What way can I use to get this batch of goods in? As for how to deal with it, let me give you an example. I registered a shell company on a certain platform and imported a batch of crude oil from a certain country. According to the embargo agreement, this is illegal. But if this batch of crude oil goes through a shell company affiliated with a certain platform, not long after, this batch of crude oil appears on the international market for legal sales. I am an honest businessman. No matter how large the quantity, I can handle it. Your gold just needs to go through a procedure at my mining company in South Africa to legally appear on the international market. Of course, you don't need to worry about the specific operation. You can just sell the gold directly to me. And I only charge a 9% handling fee. It sounds like we may indeed have the possibility of cooperation. Dwan Jiang smirked. How to make a female celebrity fall deeply in love with you, with just one sentence. Our male lead easily achieved this. Just 2 hours ago, Dwan Jiang reached an agreement with the intermediary in front of him. Dwan Jiang is only responsible for transporting the gold to a certain location in the country. He will not be involved in matters after the delivery. May I ask boldly, do you know how much of this 24K pure gold Mr. Jiang has? I need to prepare enough liquid funds. Actually, the amount of gold is not much. It's probably just a few tons. Roberts was suddenly startled when he heard this. With so much gold, at a 9% commission rate, the profit could easily reach tens of thousands. I'm practically making money while lying down. It seems like I am going to strike it rich this time, God. Afterwards, Roberts asked his friend and bodyguard, do you think this person is reliable? I'm sorry, boss. I don't quite understand. But this Oriental person is a very dangerous guy. Does he also know Kung Fu? Roberts said while gesturing. My intuition tells me he wouldn't be my match if he had a gun. But if it's barehanded, I only have a 50% chance of winning. Dwan Jiang, who is leaving at the moment, is in a great mood. This is like falling asleep with someone handing you a pillow. He's wondering how to deal with the gold at hand. How difficult is it to move gold? 1 ton of gold is only 0.05 cubic meters. As for the storage and consumption, it's just half a subcrystal of energy. At this moment, Yao Lu has already packed up her luggage. She has changed into a beige belted dress and put on a sunshade linen hat with a ribbon tied. She looks very youthful and energetic. How come you are back now? I'm starving from waiting. Yao Lu pouted. Let's go eat. We'll eat whatever you want today. Dwan Jiang, who is in a great mood, is naturally generous. Looks like you are quite happy today. Yao Lu looked at Dwan Jiang with a faint glimmer in her eyes. I made a big deal. I thought it was because of me. Yao Lu joked. So guess how big the deal is? $1 million. Yao Lu lightly opened her vermilion lips. She took a sip of red wine. 1 billion at least. Dwan Jiang smiled smugly. Yao Lu, upon hearing this, almost spat out his red wine impolitely. Yao Lu, with a hint of resentment, glanced at Dwan Jiang with his hand over his chest. I didn't expect you to be so capable. However, Dwan Jiang jokingly remarked that he had shown his true abilities last night. Yao Lu was slightly stunned and then understood the meaning behind Dwan Jiang's words. His cheeks blushed with embarrassment involuntarily. In the following 5 days, Dwan Jiang spent the best 5 days of his modern life. Of course, our chicken brother. Brother Chicken almost died in the line of duty during these 5 days of hard work. At this moment, ending the trip to Sanya, Dwan Jiang couldn't help but sigh at the impermanence of the world. Also don't know if he will be able to see Yao Lu again in the future. However, what Dwan Jiang does not know is he will be facing the rampage by Shiyucia next. A person who can make the boss treat him to a meal and still give the boss a hard time. The beauty in front of us may be one of a kind. At this moment, Shiyucia is looking at Dwan Jiang in front of him. He became the shopkeeper, and Shiyucia was really angry. She was busy with everything at the beginning of the company's establishment, and this person actually ran off to Sanya for a stroll. Dwan Jiang had to treat and please the beautiful lady in front of him. He was really upset. Shiyucia no longer bothered to be polite with Dwan Jiang and ordered all the restaurant's signature dishes as soon as the menu was opened. After venting, Shiyucia now has a look of melancholy. What's wrong? Do you have anything bothering you lately? Dwan Jiang asked with a caring expression. It's still about the company's prospects. You must have core competitiveness when setting up a technology company. Do you understand high technology? You seem to have completely forgotten even advanced mathematics. Shiyucia couldn't help but mutter. So you were worried about this? Dwan Jiang immediately said in this regard. We have professional talents, so there's no need to worry. And next, we also have our own plans. He also has plans to enter the gaming market, and so on. Upon hearing this, Shiyucia couldn't help but interrupt Dwan Jiang's wild talk. Dwan Jiang's outrageous actions made the single CEO feel immense pressure. Okay, I know, let's take it step by step. In the future, I will need to ask Boss CIA to pay more attention. After all, you still have a 10% stake in the company. When did I have shares? Shiyucia exclaimed in surprise. I just decided it now. After speaking, Dwan Jiang ignored Shiyucia and started eating frantically by himself. Alas, before anything has even started, you're already talking to me about stocks. Shiyucia couldn't help but hold his forehead and sigh heavily. At dusk, after a busy day, Dwan Jiang finally returned home. He thought to himself that the matter here has come to an end. Next, he should go back and see Jiao Sun and the others. Before that, he still needs to prepare the essentials for daily life. Of course, the most important thing is to prepare 2 pieces of women's clothing. With everything ready, Dwan Jiang skillfully crossed back to the apocalypse. Indeed, except for me, no other life form can be carried. The test subject for time travel has stopped breathing. Dwan Jiang, feeling a bit disappointed, looked up and couldn't help but be dumbfounded. Is this yard where I left before? A fragrant breeze swept in. A familiar figure fell into Dwan Jiang's arms. "You're finally back," said Jiao Sun, feeling both happy and a bit resentful as she gazed at the man in front of her. "Did you miss me?" "I think of you every day," replied Dwan Jiang, even feeling like a scumbag after saying those words. But then Jiao Sun sniffed him, as if she had discovered something incredible. However, she didn't say anything. She instead pulled Dwan Jiang and started introducing her masterpiece. She installed devices and traps throughout the villa to prevent enemies from invading. Can this still be called a villa? It's more like a bunker. After all, this way is safer. We can't pretend to be invisible all the time. In case a passing survivor explores this place, and then spreads the situation here. Hearing this, Dwan Jiang was suddenly alerted. He felt that he had thought too simply before. Jiao Sun's approach is indeed the most secure method at present. What Dwan Jiang is even more unaware of is that an earth-shaking battle is currently taking place in the city center. The power of this futuristic mass cannon in front of us is immense. A single mass bullet can travel 310,000 meters in an instant, accurately destroying a 100-story office building. At this moment, the Black Knight squad from Apocalypse Orange Town is carrying out a secret mission. As the Black Knight squad arrives at the designated location, the team members' faces gradually showed a serious expression. The scenes in front of them are full of strange creatures. The sight made the team members couldn't help but feel their scalps tingling, only to see countless worm-like flesh balls gathering towards an office building. This is Black Knight squad. Arrived above the target. Unknown hostiles. Requesting naval cannon support. At this moment, a colossal creature is silently floating on the sea. With the captain's command, the entire warship began to move slowly. Several workers wearing VR headsets were busy in front of the computers. With a loud roar, the side deck of the bow slowly cracked. A cannon barrel over 10 meters long gradually rose up. Dazzling light filled the barrel. A high-density electric current emitted a short and sharp buzzing sound. Accompanied by the sound of a cannon breaking the sound barrier, a pale-colored blast shot towards the sky. I see the building being destroyed. Just as the team was preparing to relax, suddenly, a beam of light shot out from underground, hitting the team's aircraft. "Captain, this is an electromagnetic pulse. All equipment is malfunctioning." "Captain, the plane is out of control. The Black Knight team can only parachute to save their lives." They landed on the ground immediately. Everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. They saw a huge red creature in front of them. My goodness, the subcrystal index is over 90,000. We've made a fortune this time. "Captain, I have a question. Isn't it said that the higher the subcrystal index of a creature, the more dangerous it is?" "Why does your face look so relaxed, Captain?" the new recruit in front of you asked uneasily. "Indeed. But those with an index exceeding 300, called extreme variant beings, are not very dangerous. When it reaches a certain degree, it's not that dangerous anymore. For example, a 200-kilogram obese person doesn't need you to take action. Their own actions are the problem." While the captain was explaining, a team member suddenly noticed something was wrong. Usually, such extreme mutations of organisms will attract other species for feeding. But the surroundings of this creature are strangely quiet and eerie. At this point, the captain also noticed the abnormality of this monster. It was seen constantly accumulating energy and expanding. Not good. Fire at it quickly. It is accumulating energy, preparing to self-destruct. If we let it succeed, we will all die here. But at this moment, everyone realized it was already too late. With a loud noise, a fireball rose into the sky in the city center. Black Knight is offline. The communicator at the moment is shocked. Subcrystal index changes. The target splits into 12 life forms. At this moment, the captain's face is full of gloom. The elite force can be recreated in virtual reality if they die. It's just a pity for the equipment worth 220,000 subcrystals. Apocalypse cosplay. This scene is something our male lead never thought about crossing over to. Just a short while ago, Dwan Jiang, who left Apocalypse 1 month ago, crossed back again. At this moment, he decided to leave quietly. Little Rainbow's room gave her a surprise. But as she entered the room, he was almost tripped by the electronic devices lying all around the room. Why is this little girl still lazing in bed at this hour? At this moment, Little Rainbow is sleeping soundly, as sweetly as a little squirrel. Dwan Jiang didn't bother to wake her up. He casually picked up a programming book from Little Rainbow's blanket. By the way, I have also passed the Level 2 computer exam. Let me take a look. The ending is very clear. Dwan Jiang is completely confused. At this moment, Little Rainbow suddenly sat up from the bed with a brush. Brother, don't leave. Little Rainbow is really trying hard. After saying these dreamy words, Little Rainbow lay down with a sigh and fell back asleep. Looking at the black circles under Little Rainbow's eyes, Dwan Jiang couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for him. You've worked hard. Take a nap. Dwan Jiang tucked in the blanket for her and walked out. But the next moment, Dwan Jiang was deeply shocked by the scene in front of him. At this moment, Jiao Sun had already changed into sexy black stockings from somewhere. And the upper body was also dressed in a full cosplay outfit. A Catwoman's tight bodysuit and cat ears. Why are you standing there blankly? Come down. At this moment, Jiao Sun stood in the living room, looking very imposing. Dwan Jiang suddenly had a bad premonition at this moment. Do you have anything else you want to confess? Faced with such a powerful manner from Jiao Sun, Dwan Jiang suddenly felt a little flustered. He stammered and broke into a cold sweat. How do I look in this outfit? I learned it from a library before the war. Dwan Jiang, who was already tied up, understood that he could only confess and accept any punishment. Do you really let me handle it? You sneaky cat. So Jiao Sun was here to settle scores. Dwan Jiang could only nod frantically. After all, he was in the wrong first. As long as Jiao Sun was happy, anything was fine. Is that so? Then let you see how powerful my sister is. With that, Jiao Sun was about to take action. But just as the atmosphere between the two was perfect, a sharp cry suddenly rang out. Oh no! Just now, both of them selectively forgot the fact that there are people at home. I didn't expect the scene to be caught by the little girl who just went downstairs. At this moment, Jiao Sun tossed her hair with an elegant and crisp manner. Little Rainbow, an unidentified origin. I have already searched the newcomer thoroughly. I'll leave it to you next. Little Rainbow, keep an eye on him and don't let him escape. Having said that, Jiao Sun didn't even untie the rope. He just ran away without any loyalty. That Little Rainbow is me. At this moment, Dwan Jiang would rather dig a hole and bury himself. Brother. Seeing Dwan Jiang made Little Rainbow extremely excited. Helpless Dwan Jiang can only seek assistance from Little Rainbow. But because Yaya was nervous, her little hands fumbled on Dwan Jiang's body. She rubbed it for a long time, but couldn't untie the knot. After a series of operations, Dwan Jiang finally changed his clothes and was ready to start the family meeting. Dwan Jiang explained his situation and expressed that in his world, gold can easily be exchanged for goods. However, when Little Rainbow asked if it was possible to bring people through the crossover. Also, there are mutant bacteria everywhere here. Viruses must have broken out on your side too. Fortunately, you have spatial storage technology, otherwise, you will inevitably encounter the Grey Goo mercenaries during transportation. Yes, I just need to bring back the goods all at once through the storage space. Can you believe this little girl in front of you, nibbling on moldy bread? Just a short while ago, Dwan Jiang and a few others were discussing. They are going to the 6th district to hire some more help for the villa. Is it that my brother doesn't want me anymore? Rainbow asked worriedly. Dwan Jiang explained everything, which somewhat reassured the girl. Jiao Sun's eyes looked a bit evasive. She also told Dwan about her childhood story. Because she was small and not useful, the team leader decided to let her go feed the zombies. At this time, a person wearing a mask next to them saw it, and a gentle female voice came from under the mask. In front of them was this dirty girl, who had just been separated from her family in the apocalypse. However, she still didn't know that her parents had already died. She is now about to go look for her own family. Luckily, she met a kind and caring master. The master taught her how to survive in the wasteland. As she grew up, she gradually understood. Perhaps she could never go back to her previous life. The master said his job was to kill, but she was always kind-hearted and righteous. Until one day her own master went out on a mission and never returned. Later, she received news that her master had died in a battle with bandits. So the once little girl started wandering alone in the wasteland. After visiting many places, Jiao Sun, I have to admit that my parents are indeed dead. However, she has not found her younger sister yet. She has always believed that her sister is still alive. In the end, she even traced her parents' pre-war villa. Here is where Jiao Sun ran out of supplies. Just as she changed into clean clothes, preparing to die with dignity. Perhaps it was fate at work. She saw Dwan Jiang sneaking in over the wall, and couldn't help but interrupt, saying, I asked several times before coming in if anyone was here. Then in the end, wasn't I taken advantage of by your brother? At this moment, little Rainbow couldn't help but comfort Jiao Sun. In her eyes, Jiao Sun is like family to her. Looking at little Rainbow, Dwan Jiang suddenly remembered that there was something she needed help with. Dwan Jiang took out a smartphone. It's about this. Electronic products. My tools are upstairs. After saying that, little Rainbow brought Dwan Jiang. They arrived at her small laboratory. Brother, hurry up and show me the high-tech gadgets of your world. At this moment, little Rainbow is already a little impatient. Dwan Jiang handed it over somewhat embarrassed. Then he said it was just a mobile game on his phone. Phone? What's that? Little Rainbow asked, not quite understanding. Dwan Jiang was slightly surprised by this, as little Rainbow had spent the time before age 12 in the pre-war period. Wasn't there things like electronic games back then? Dwan Jiang had to spend some effort to explain the situation to little Rainbow. I think I understand what my brother was referring to. However, although there were indeed many popular games before the war, they were all played inside the game warehouse. Wow! It turns out that handheld games have replaced the little tyrant. Mainly because the game warehouse can also help relieve fatigue. Gradually, no one is installing games on communication devices anymore. At this moment, Dwan Jiang looks very troubled. What should he do? Give up mobile games? At this moment, little Rainbow asked if he could research this phone. Dwan Jiang said, Feel free to research it. Little Rainbow, receiving affirmation, was instantly overjoyed. The next second, little Rainbow directly transformed into a young inventor. While dismantling it, he muttered softly, What kind of ancient processor is this? It even has a touch keyboard. The little girl named Apocalypse, who is said to be a computer genius, is constantly complaining about the backwardness of modern smartphones in front of her. No problem in terms of theory. But mobile games, this thing is a bit tricky. High-tech talents understanding it is not a problem. However, lacking in graphic design, game experience, and other aspects are indeed tough issues. Dwan started to doubt himself after listening to Rainbow's analysis. How could I doubt our little tech genius? When little Rainbow takes action, it's bound to be amazing. Ideas always come in a flash. Leave it to me, big brother. I'll get you what you want within 5 days. Dwan Jiang was greatly shocked. He had originally anticipated several months of work, yet it was completed within 5 days. Starting from scratch can be a bit troublesome. But there must be game code in the library. I just need my elder sister to make another trip and copy the relevant data back. Then I can recode the basic language again. Little Rainbow, you are so cute. Dwan Jiang didn't wait for Little Rainbow to finish and then Little Rainbow started playing the game of raising hands high. Hee hee. Little Rainbow had a silly smile on his face. He was being praised. By the time Dwan Jiang left, he still hadn't recovered his senses. On the other side, Jiao Sun is organizing supplies. Suddenly, a pair of hands reached out from behind and grabbed her. Caught you. After Dwan Jiang came out of Little Rainbow, he came to find Jiao Sun and kissed her. Baby, you worked hard. But I didn't see you come to help me, Jiao Sun coquettishly said to Dwan Jiang. Dwan Jiang suddenly felt wronged. Who knew you were in such a hurry to move things to the basement? This is food. It needs to be stored early. For someone who has been hungry before, food is naturally the most important. I won't let you go hungry, the man said ambiguously to the woman's ear. Dwan Jiang's enthusiasm made Jiao Sun a little shy. She quickly changed the subject, fantasizing that gold could shift his attention. But Dwan Jiang is not easy to deceive. Someone seems to have forgotten what they did to me this morning. Later on, Dwan Jiang committed unspeakable acts against the two big white rabbits on Jiao Sun's chest. The time came to the next morning. Load the gun. Aim. Pull the trigger. The zombie in the distance instantly fell to the ground. Dwan Jiang felt a bit annoyed. Clearly aiming for the head, but hitting the chest instead. Yes. Learn from this. Dwan Jiang landed a headshot with a single hit. Not bad, Jiao Sun exclaimed. Keep going, keep going. The opportunity to practice on live targets shouldn't be missed. She kept adjusting her shooting distance and posture. Shooting is extremely important for apocalypse. In case you encounter a group of zombies, any mistake could be fatal. Dwan Jiang originally thought that with enhanced physical abilities, none of these would be a big deal. However, it turns out that even with enhanced abilities, it's not always a sure shot. As the last zombie fell to the ground, the sun had already set. Dwan Jiang's training finally came to an end. In a single afternoon, they used up 120 rounds of ammunition, killing 29 zombies. The results were decent. Jiao Sun made a final summary of the afternoon's training. You can still escape even if you can't defeat this water monster in the 6th district. The next morning, Dwan Jiang got up early. Jiao Sun watched him from the side. Go quickly and come back quickly. Pay attention to safety. At this time, Little Rainbow also groggily came down from upstairs, rubbing her eyes and saying, Big brother, are we leaving now? Wait for me. Afterwards, she stared and ran upstairs, then stared and ran back down. She handed Dwan Jiang a package containing some small things she designed. It would be great if it could help her brother. She fell asleep again shortly after. It's time to set off, Jiao Sun reminded from the side. Little Rainbow waited for her brother to come back. After taking a last look at the familiar sleeping Little Rainbow, Dwan Jiang decisively embarked on the journey to the 6th district. Staying in the presidential suite at the Apocalypse for a week is quite an experience. In a deserted ruins outside the 6th district, a manhole cover was pushed aside. Dwan Jiang crawled out from the sewer. He quickly arrived at the entrance of the 6th district. There were many people here who needed to enter the neighborhood. Queue up. Keep up. EP is ready. The guard at the entrance keeps reminding everyone. Dwan Jiang passed through the guard at the entrance smoothly. After entering the 6th district, Dwan Jiang was contemplating his next move. A warehouse for rent on the street caught his attention. The leasing sign presented him with an opportunity. Without hesitation, he rented a warehouse and, as customary, gave the instructions once again. Dwan Jiang looked around to make sure no one was watching, then swiftly slipped into the warehouse. He categorically placed all the goods from his space inside the warehouse. After locking the warehouse door, the next step would be the inner circle's affairs. First, he needed to get rid of this batch of goods on hand. Then hire some manpower. This was also his main purpose for coming to the 6th district this time. Suddenly, Dwan Jiang saw a large cubic warehouse ahead. He guessed this should be the weapon storage in the inner city. He secretly thought it would be great if he could bring back a few more of these things. "Sir, do you want to enter the inner city?" a mercenary beside him asked. "Yes," Dwan Jiang replied, and under the guidance of the mercenary, he paid another subcrystal to smoothly enter the inner city. Indeed different. Skyscrapers dotted the inner city, with all kinds of architectural facilities. Dwan Jiang immediately chose the Heaven Hotel. "Book the best room for us for a week." Upon entering the hotel lobby, Dwan Jiang made his selection right away. After all, money was not an issue. "Sir, let me confirm, the top suite for 7 days. Is that correct?" The waiter could hardly believe his ears. But Dwan Jiang promptly gave him a firm answer. In the elegant office, a middle-aged man dressed in fancy and decent clothes sat in the main seat. In front of him was Dwan Jiang's photo, along with his information and whereabouts after he entered the 6th district. Grain production. Interesting. Obviously, Dwan Jiang piqued the interest of this man. "Does the boss need to contact him?" inquired the female secretary next to him. The flashy boss remained calm and unhurried. "Not in a rush. Let's wait and see." The much-anticipated lunch time was coming up next. "Today is our final one." The flashy boss looked at the table. The curry chicken instantly turned into a foodie's delight. "But this is also the last one." Watching the flashy boss enjoy the meal heartily, the female secretary said, "Gurgle. I want some." After the meal, the flashy boss savored the flavors endlessly. "It's a pity this is the last can. But this small box couldn't even be bought with 60 subcrystals a few days ago." He managed to get one based on his status. Even if divided into 3 portions, it will eventually be finished. "I wonder what the taste of the braised beef is," the boss thought to himself as he held the canned food. He glanced again at Dwan Jiang's information on the table. The name Dwan Jiang. Why does it seem so familiar? Like I've seen it somewhere. Where could it be? A cabinet-style device in the Heaven Hotel made a creaking sound and slowly opened from the inside. Dwan Jiang stood up from inside. The high-ranking apocalypse official in front of him felt like his soul was about to fly away after just taking a bite of an ordinary orange. Dwan Jiang had the beautiful robot bring out 2 plates of fresh oranges. "Don't be picky. Canned fruit is a specialty of our company." Dwan Jiang introduced to Chen Wuzhao. "Bring, treat for us to have?" Chen Wuzhao's inner shock level. Greater than seeing that can of oranges before. Enjoying does not mean willing to share with me. And also giving to 2 strangers. I had opened the can just now. This is prepared for you all. Dwan Jiang explained, looking at a platter of fresh and juicy oranges in front of him. Chen Wuzhao involuntarily reached out his hand. It had been so long since he had seen any fruit. His hand trembled uncontrollably. He picked up a piece and slowly brought it to his mouth. Oh, the juicy texture. It feels like my body is going to melt into it. Cough, cough. After a brief enjoyment, Chen Wuzhao also realized some rudeness. Dwan Jiang saw the calm boss and secretary who finally tasted the delicious food. He finally felt relieved. "How is it? Is it delicious?" he asked the 2 people across with a pleasant mood. "It is indeed delicious. Honestly speaking, although the 6th district can also produce some fruits, the quantity is very limited." Chen Wuzhao replied somewhat dejectedly. "Not only are they impacted by radiation, but they are also difficult to grow and have significant individual differences. Only a small portion can ensure safety for consumption. The rest can only undergo nutrient extraction processing. They cannot be compared to these fresh canned fruits." I think Dwan Jiang is also aware of these facts. That's why he chose the 6th district. Since he already has plenty of canned goods, the canned goods that appeared last time at the exchange are probably also his doing, right? Chen Wuzhao thought this way and asked accordingly. However, Dwan Jiang across the table just smiled and did not respond to his words. Faced with Dwan Jiang's smiling silence, Chen Wuzhao also understood. He never revealed anything to others, and could not possibly disclose all that he knew to him. Mr. Jiang, I must confess to you that I am also a businessman in the 6th district, Chen Wuzhao said with a slight smile. Since Mr. Jiang has so many resources and has gone to such great lengths, it must be to liquidate them. He thought correctly. Dwan Jiang across the table got what he wanted and readily admitted his previous questions. Well, since Mr. Jiang has appeared in the inner circle rather than the outer circle exchange, he must be looking to do a big deal. Dwan Jiang immediately denied it. If it's not just a one-time deal, but many times over? Hearing this, Chen Wuzhao had to show even greater sincerity. After all, the resources in the other party's hands were too important. Mr. Jiang, please allow me to reintroduce myself. Chen Wuzhao adjusted his clothes to show respect. I am Chen Wuzhao, Council of 10 member, and CEO of Zhao Corporation. I, on behalf of Zhao Corporation, welcome your company to come to the 6th district for business discussions. The Council of 10 is indeed a big fish. I can't miss this opportunity. Since Fishbone Grain Company Limited is showing such sincerity, he is naturally more than happy to engage. I will say, as long as I appear here, there is always a chance to meet my trading partner. You mentioned trade. This time, Chen Wuzhao can't stay calm. Trade implies